There are two things that we need to establish. One, what Ozpin did was cruel, taking advantage of his subordinates' trust, dragging them into a war that would never end, telling them to fight an enemy they could never beat. That was nothing short of heartless. And two, it was the most reasonable and rational thing he could have done. Let's start with the first point, the cruelty of it all, by looking at it through the lens of someone who felt most deeply betrayed by Ozpin's deception. Crow. Imagine you're a crow, a huntsman who's been fighting Grimm for years. You protect people and kill monsters. You're pretty gosh darn good at it. One day, Ozpin tells you about a secret war that's been going on for centuries. He says that the Grimm you've been fighting, they don't just appear randomly, not all the time. Sometimes they're sent by something. A force of pure malevolence and evil, hell-bent on the destruction of humanity. Her name is Salem. For humanity, she's the monster hiding in the closet, or that shadowy figure in the corner of your room. She prefers to shroud herself in darkness, prefers to remain unseen, but make no mistake, the monster is very real. Ozpin tells you that he's been fighting her for years, protecting humanity from its greatest threat. But he can't do it alone. She's gathered allies, so he needs to as well. He needs your help. Now, finding out about this existential threat to humanity, well, it's a lot. But Ozpin trusts that she can handle it. He trusts that you'll do the right thing. He trusts you. That word, trust, it means a lot. And honestly, you trust him. So you join the fight. You go where he needs you to go and fight what he needs you to fight. You do everything you can to prove yourself worthy of all that trust. The war isn't easy. You've lost allies. Whether their fear got to them and they turned, or whether they've died for the cause. It's painful all the same, but you keep fighting. Yes, she's the biggest and baddest monster you've ever heard of, but at the end of the day, she's just another monster. You'll protect humanity the same way you always have. You'll kill the monster. That is until you find out you can't. This monster, Salem, can't be killed. You can close the closet door, but you'll always hear her breathing on the other side. You can switch on the lights, but she'll be back as soon as you switch them off again. What was it all for? Then your role becomes clear. You were never a hero protecting humanity. You were cannon fodder sent to delay the inevitable. You and all your allies were just expendable pawns in a losing game of chess. The worst part is finding out how little faith Ozpin had in you. Maybe you still would have taken up the fight, accepted the role as pawn, had he just given you the chance to make that decision. But he didn't. He didn't trust that you could handle that. He didn't trust that you would do the right thing. So he lied to you. A lie of omission. Now, I know I said we're looking at this through the lens of Crow, but honestly, this could be applied to anyone who Ozpin has recruited into this fight. Has the cruelty of it all sunk in? Do you now understand why this was such a mind fudge? How this was such a messed up thing for Ozpin to do? Good. Now let's move on to the second point. Why this was the most reasonable thing for Ozpin to do. I'm not going to go over Ozpin's whole story because I think that's an interesting enough video on its own. Instead, I just want to focus on his role as leader in the fight against Salem. Ozpin has likely recruited countless allies for this war against Salem, and in all that time, he's probably had a lot of opportunities to watch them grow, change, and most importantly, how they can react to certain situations. For example, the betrayal by Lionheart is something he's likely experienced before, but no matter how many allies he's lost or gained, his role has remained the same. The de facto commander-in-chief, the guiding light that everyone looks to. And the commander needs troops. Ozpin needs as much good help as he can get his hands on. Here's the brutal truth. Let's say Ozpin did tell them all about Salem's unkillable status. The good outcome is every single one of them chooses to stay and fight regardless. The far more likely outcome, however, is that most, if not all of them, immediately give up on trying to fight Salem. The attitude changes from how do we defeat Salem to how do we survive her. And people fighting to survive can be a whole lot more cruel than people who are fighting to win. Remember Ironwood? Remember Atlas? And overall, it just dampens morale. How do you tell someone they can't win a fight, but expect them to keep fighting anyway? Even RWBY decided to keep the truth from Ironwood at first, and everyone else was complicit in that decision. So I ask you, what is the actual benefit to telling them the truth? Why not just keep it from them? Because I can tell you some benefits of not disclosing the truth. We have less people like Ironwood who are driven by desperation into cold-hearted cruelty. We have less people like Lionheart driven by fear into joining Salem in some vain hope that they might be spared her wrath. We have more people willing to fight, and yes, maybe that's just delaying the inevitable, but that means another day when a child can go to bed safe and sound. It means another day when a husband or wife can return to their loved one. Isn't that worth it? These are the kinds of things you need to consider as a leader. What would you choose? And regardless of what you would choose, could you really still blame Ozpin? Because when you look at it that way, he made the rational choice, right? Even if it did mean betraying all that trust that was placed in him. He made fools of all his allies, but in exchange, he bought humanity one more day. But then again, RWBY did choose honesty in the end. She chose honesty because she had faith, and faith can hardly be considered rational. But maybe it's the right choice. Maybe in time we'll see that the correct decision for a leader to make is to believe in those they lead. Hey, just wanted to add a quick word to say I do love a good argument, so if you think there's something I've missed, please let me know so I don't look so stupid next time. And I just ask that you be polite about it. But yeah, I'd love to talk more about stuff, especially like RWBY stuff, or any other video topic that I've talked about in the past. If for whatever reason you want to talk to me live, then good news, I do stream sometimes. I'm trying to work on being more consistent. But that is a way to like get a live reaction from me if you want to talk about something. So I'll put links to the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel I stream on down below as well. Again, it's an inconsistent schedule of streaming at best. I am trying to figure it out. But if you subscribe and or follow those channels, then you'll have a better chance of catching me. Haha. Anyway, keep it smooth.